explain your yes vote, and you came out and said you have the utmost respect for Senator McCain, but why your yes vote?
Well, obviously, we're going to have some bipartisan fixes along the way. This is not the be-all, end-all piece of legislation, Graham-Cassidy, but it does move us in the right direction. And right now, a lot of Arizonans are hurting. You have, nearly 200,000 will wake up every morning without insurance at all, having paid the fine to the federal government because they can't afford it, and they still have no insurance. And so, for those who say that we can't disrupt something that's working, this isn't working very well, and so I'm in favor of it.
So do you believe that if it passes the Senate, I know that Paul Ryan says he's going to run the bill in the House, is there still a chance that this bill passes? Now, Ted Cruz over the weekend said he's a no vote. We know Rand Paul is a no vote. Senator McCain says he's a no vote. Can you get to 50?
There still is a chance. It is decidedly more difficult now, obviously, after some members have indicated a no vote. My understanding is Ted Cruz has said that with some changes, he could still go for it. Rand Paul is saying the same thing. Whether those changes, bump somebody else off is the question. So we'll be, negotiating today and tomorrow and Wednesday, and I hope that we can still get to a vote on Thursday.
What is it that are the negotiated points right now? What are people like Senator Cruz looking for to switch to a yes vote?
Senator Cruz has always been interested in making sure that people buying on the exchange can buy policies that are tailored to what they want, that they have the freedom to do that. I happen to agree with that sentiment, and I think, frankly, that is embedded in the bill. So I hope that we can get there. Basically, what we're doing is taking what is spent right now on Obamacare and saying, all right, states, let's see if you can do it better. And in other areas like welfare reform in 1996, it was turned over to the states, and the states did it much better than the federal government could do it. So that's the general principle. What's being negotiated now are what the reimbursement levels are. And right now, states like New York and California and Maryland and Massachusetts, those four states that represent only about 22% of the population of the country, are consuming about 40% of Medicaid dollars.
When you look at this bill, and the reason why Senator McCain said he voted no before was because one of them was that our governor didn't support it. Governor Ducey's come out in support of it. But I've also heard people that I respect that are knowledgeable saying this is going to cost the state of Arizona billions of dollars in revenue. Is that true?
It depends on which figure you believe. I know the governor has looked at this very carefully, and they believe that even if there were fewer dollars, the flexibility given to the governors would make it worthwhile. But frankly, given the numbers over the weekend, I know that some changes were made. I don't believe that the claims made that Arizona would be short billions of dollars are actually valid. So I know they're still running numbers, but I know that the governor is looking out for the state, and he wants to make sure that he can continue to offer Medicaid in a way, the way we do it, a lot more efficiently than other states, that we can continue to cover people who are covered now.
Is there anything that you've heard in your conversations with Senator McCain that would get him to look at this bill and turn to a yes vote, or is this just something he's not going to budge on?
I'd be very, very surprised if he changed his mind now, or that changes could be made to the bill. His main issue is process, and that we haven't gone through the regular committees. I happen to share his view on regular order. We get much better legislation that way. But in this case, I just don't see the Democrats willing to lift a finger to help us in this regard. They just they don't want to do what it would take to make the system sustainable and to make the reforms that we have to make it affordable for a lot of Arizonans. So in this case, I just don't think that the Democrats will come along.
And see, that's been my criticism of that thought of them being on board, is that they've done nothing to even indicate that they want to change Obamacare. They have not come forward and admitted it needs to be changed. And even forget repeal, it needs to have major overhauls and major changes, and there's major problems. If they're not willing to jump on board with some kind of an admission that changes need to be made, how can they be counted on to do anything to fix the issue? And that, to me, has been my biggest issue with anyone who says the regular order is necessary here. I think getting something done and trying to get their input down the road, I think, would be a better way to go.
Right. Well, I think you're exactly right. Down the road, obviously, there are going to be fixes that need to be made. But right now, Lamar Alexander, the Republican who chairs the committee, the relevant committee, has been sitting down with Patty Murray, the ranking Democrat. And Lamar Alexander came back last week and said, hey, there's nothing we've got right now. This is a long way off. And so those who are hoping for the Democrats to come on board right now with some kind of fix, it's just not going to happen. And I should mention as well, in January, those employers that have been exempted from the employer mandate will no longer be. And so for the first time, employers will be paying a fine, and these fines will go out to, letters will go from the IRS to 90,000 businesses across the country, and the fines will total about $5 billion. And those are the kind of things that are coming. And so those who are saying that Obamacare is fine and dandy and we don't have to make big changes to it, that's just not the case.
And I agree with you. I'm anxious to see how this progresses on to Thursday, see if we get to a vote. And as they said, that they're going to roll call the votes. Every senator is going to be responsible for the way they vote on this.